today's session. Today we will be covering Module 2, Part 2, which will be the IOT, the Individual Officiating Techniques. Today's presentation will be covered by Jillian Martindale from Barbados and Alejandra Gaetan Mota from Mexico. Again, the housekeeping rules is please put yourself on mute. If there's a need or a question is asked, you can either raise your hand or put it in the chat, or if the instructor specifically asks or call on you, you can unmute yourself from the session. Like as always, the presentation will be posted to the Learning Center platform at the conclusion of the meeting. If there are any specific questions that you would like, please raise your hands and ask. With that, I now turn it over to the presenters.
Welcome, participants. Thank you for being a part of this very special occasion here in CBC. Myself, Jillian Martindale, and my colleague, Alejandra, we will be presenting refereeing IOT, individual officiating technique, which is the basis of your refereeing performance on the court during the games. We promise you that it will be a very exciting and entertaining evening. We welcome questions. We want to learn from you. We want to know what you're doing in your country, in your various associations. And one of the reasons for this presentation is to bring uniformity in refereeing in CBC, and also to produce the next FIBA World Championship referee from CBC and throughout the FIBA America region. Are you ready?
Yes, we are. There's a couple of people still on mute. I don't want to, what I'm going to do, Jillian, I'm just going to mute everyone, and then I'm just going to ask you to unmute yourself so that you can continue. Okay, Jillian, you can go ahead.
Okay. Are we ready? Can everyone hear?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. I put something in the chat to please give your title, your name, and your country. And for doing this, when we have questions, we want to be able to have you volunteering, and we will also ask you to assist your colleagues. So it's very important that we, and also a very good time to get to know you. Right? When you are introducing yourself, well, when you're answering the questions, please give your name and your country. It's okay. All right. Are we ready? Yeah. First of all, tell me what is individual officiating technique, or IOT? Anyone? Can you hear me?
They are a little shy today, I think.
Yeah. Oh, come on. We have about, how many people logged on? We have about 52 participants. At least some person could tell me when they think about individual officiating technique and you as a referee, what comes to mind? Okay. Any volunteers?
Good night, Jillian.
Hello.
Vanessa from St. Lucia. Long, long, long time.
Hello, my friend.
Yes, my roommate. Oh,
Nice
when
to
I think of individual refereeing techniques, I think of you as an individual referee, some your own style, because yes, there are specific mechanics that you would have to follow, that you have to practice, but within that you would bring some of your own personality into that. So there would be certain ways probably you would move making a call, okay, when you do your signals, particular ways in which you as an individual may do it, if I would say maybe your own style, bearing in mind that yes, you have the basics and there are things that you must do, but you would bring in part of yourself and your personality into the whole exercise. That's what comes to mind when I think of individual techniques.
Thank you. Yes. Um, Anyone else?
Derek Alexander from Dominica. I share almost the same view. You can even look at it like even when you look at the different umpires in cricket, all of them have the different style of signaling their fours and their sixes. So it's almost the same thing that you how you run. Some people would make when they're making certain calls, and you could see their body language, how they want to carry themselves. So it's their own style. That's what I think.
Okay. Yes. Um, Anyone else want to add anything? We talked about your having your own personality. Um, we talked about um, knowledge of the game. Anything else? There's a lot of things when you're refereeing basketball. There's a lot of things that you do on the court. So everything you do on the court when you're refereeing basketball is a part of individual officiating technique. So can someone else add to what was already been said?
Canberra, Phillips, Barbados. Sometimes it'll be your interaction with the coaches and the players. You'll find that some referees might be approachable, like asking a question as relates to a call or a violation, whatever the case may be. But it's your interaction. You might got some that might just blow you off. You might got some that might just like stop at the best opportunity to give you like an explanation as to why they call. So it's like communication per se, like how you communicate with players and the coaches.
Okay, thank you very much. Um, there are a lot of things that were said that we would be presenting today. Um, this is what FIBA said about individual officiating techniques.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Ali Gaitan, and I really enjoy the way you guys say my name. Okay, so okay, I'm gonna practice my English today that I haven't been practicing a lot lately, but I'm going to practice today with you. And first of all, it's an honor for me to be here. So talking about individual officiating techniques, we got a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff. And as you guys said, um, of course, we got to print our own style, but we have, as this presentation says, some techniques that we all gotta use. So IOT is the most important foundation for either two-person officiating or three-person officiating. It is evident that in the past 15 years, there has been a heavy focus on 3PO, namely for the mechanical movements of the referees on the floor. So we know, like in all FIBA tournaments, and I think in most of our professional leagues, we use 3PO, right? So this has led to a lack of knowledge in how to actually referee individual play phases in the game. These being the fundamental skills that referees need to possess in order to process and facilitate the correct decision. So we're going to go with all of this individual and personal stuff that we have to handle in order to work with the 3PO. Okay, can we move to the next slide, please? Thank you. So we have a list of the stuff that we're going to cover, and this is a list that FIBA is talk about, you know, about IoT. So it's primary coverage and obvious place, distance and stationary, having an active mindset and referee the defense, staying with the play till the end, process the entire play, maintain an open angle of 45 degrees. It talks about the jumble, the toss and coverage, the procedure for the throw-in, and double calls and whistles, phantom calls, and dead ball officiating. So we're going to be talking about this for this session today and for tomorrow's session. So next slide, please, Gillian.
Okay, thank you. Tu English is bueno.
Gracias.
Yeah. Okay, good. So, are we ready? Are we ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, good. So after listening and reading what FIBA said about individual officiating techniques and listing some of the characteristics of individual officiating technique and what is required of FIBA referees
I'll be on a pause because I'm not hearing anything.
in competition. This is what it said. To understand the impact and technique of maximizing the number of players within your field of vision at all times. Good. So the first thing is to be able to see, right? The first thing is to be able to see. In order to see, you have to be in a recommended position to see, right? And it says, and analysis has proved that the concept of maintaining an open angle is not necessarily well understood by referees, right? Sometimes we miss because we're there, we're following it, but for somehow we miss. We miss the first contact, sometimes we call the second contact, sometimes we call no contact. So one of the things that they'll be speaking about is having an open angle to see, being in the correct position to see, right? Unless, and they said, okay, so opening and having an open angle, and then it says unnecessarily move again. Sometimes we are in the perfect angle and then we decide, okay, so I need to get closer. And in getting closer, sometimes we end up being directly behind the player, which does not give us a good angle to judge. And what we want to judge is because we want to see between the players, who are we refereeing. Hopefully we will tell you later down during the session, but I think like most of you already know. It says it is important for the lead to move on the baseline with the ball, mirroring the ball. So the ball is moving, the players are moving, the referees are moving. All three entities are moving at the same time. So we can't have the ball moving and the players moving and the referees being static, right? And for the trail to always be behind the player, it is important to be behind the player to have all the players boxed in, because you don't want to leave, you don't want to have anyone out of your sight, right? Between the last player and the basket in the backcourt. This is very important for your positioning on the court, because at the moment, anytime team possession change, then it's your responsibility going at the other end. So it's important to keep the players boxed in and to maintain a proper distance behind the players. Right? So we talked, like we mentioned distance and stationary, and we mentioned open angle. And it says many referees have the tendency to think that moving up and down the court and being very close to the player helps them to make correct decisions. Okay, is this true or not? Tell me, because I know you referee games. Sometimes you're too far a player and you say yes, I can see, and then sometimes you're real close to the player and you said yes, I see, and sometimes when you reflect, you probably got it wrong. So, is it true, or has this ever happened to you that by moving up and down and getting close, you think, okay, I am in the best position to see because I'm right there? Yes. Hello. Oh no, Patrick, can you hear
Yes,
anyone?
we're hearing you. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you fine. I think the participants may be shy. I would say
No,
I would
no, no,
say
no, no,
that.
no, no. Okay, guys.
We all,
Okay, guys.
I think we all heard you, and they just don't want to raise their hand, and they just don't want to open their mic.
So Jillian, Jillian, what I would recommend if nobody's answering, then just
Okay, good.
the participants and ask someone the question directly,
Okay,
Just throw
so
a name.
but not me.
okay, Patrick.
Can I
Okay,
go ahead,
yes,
Jillian?
yes.
For me, I find if I am, particularly if probably I am refereeing at lead, if I'm too close to that baseline, I find that my vision is limited. You know,
Oh,
I only see a certain bit of whatever action is happening. So I tend to back up and move off of the line.
okay,
And I have a wider vision. For me, that way, I feel more comfortable that way. Anytime I'm too close up to that line, I am very uncomfortable and I feel like I'm not seeing what's really happening. So I
okay,
always tend to back up.
okay. Yes, because sometimes, depending on your size and the game you're refereeing, sometimes, especially if you're on the baseline where the centers and the forwards are, they're usually bigger and taller. And if you're very small and you're very tight onto baseline, very close, you're basically only staying in the chest if you don't have a good angle to see between the defensive. If you don't have a good angle to see the defensive player. Yeah. So I understand. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna call on a male from Saint Vincent. Male from Bahamas.
All right, good night.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Um, for me, officiating close, I do tend to agree that your vision is also impaired, but also what I've noticed that if I'm on the playing area, sometimes um, the team that has the ball tend to use me. They try their best to get the close, so you actually almost running away from uh, officiating. So I mean, sometimes you got to be very close. You got to be mindful of that also. Being actually, and I'm talking mainly with the trail and the center position.
Okay. Good. So in in listening to you, the target of this specific topic is to identify and understand key points and impact of maintaining proper distance from the play and being stationary when refereeing competitive matches. So when to be stationary, when to have proper distance, when to maintain proper distance without moving unnecessarily. Yeah. Next slide.
Sometimes we tend to think that if we are close, that it's correct, or that if we are moving a lot, that is correct. But this is going to show us that, and we have some examples of how sometimes being moving is not correct. It won't lead us to take a proper or a correct decision. The same as if we are, for example, too close or too far from a place. So that's why part of IoT is being have the proper distance in being stationary when we are taking a decision. So it says here, see the big picture. And I like to say all the time, as the people from MBA says, big picture mentality. Like have that on mind every time you're on the court, that you gotta have the most players on your field of vision. That's having a big picture mentality. So when refereeing the play, maintain an appropriate distance from the play. And because if you are too close, you will lose perspective and it will look so fast. Okay, you won't be able to see the play correctly. If you have proper distance, if you're not too close, you will have like a better view of the play. If you're too close, we will have the possibility of an emotional call or reaction increases. So we have a video to show where we have an example of this, so we want to share with you. Okay, somebody, I want somebody, because I cannot see all the names in here, but I want somebody to open the mic and says their opinion about this play, please. Yeah, they're being too shy today. Play again. Can you play it again, Ian, please? Thank you.
So the question is here, what do you think about the distance that the referee making this call? What do you think about the distance from the players involved in that call? Do you think the referee is too close? Do you think the spot is correct? Can we have some views? Come on.
Good night, everyone. Here, Dexter from Guyana. I would say, in my opinion, she's in a very good position to make the call.
Thanks, Dexter.
Can I?
Go ahead, Florence.
Hi. From the beginning of the video, what I observed was, sorry, Florence from Trinidad. Good night again. What I observed is that at the beginning, the referee was in proper possession, but coming up to the line, the referee was too close and the play got away from him or her. So they weren't able to see everything.
Great. Okay, so I would like to add, yeah, let's watch the clip. For example, here, it's correct. Can you stop? Oh, you did. Thank you. Right there, we have a proper distance. You read my mind. It has proper distance, but sometimes we can feel that we're staying behind the play when they're taking this or gaining speed, right? So can you play, please? And then, okay, right there is good. A little bit more, play. And stop. Okay, so here, I think that if she was on the position that she had before, because sometimes we feel the pressure to advance with the play, and because we think that if we are closer, we're going to watch better. But sometimes, like in this case, we need to maintain that distance. And another thing that we should add is that we cannot make a call while we are moving, okay? So in this play, referee, it's trying to get closer, so it's moving, and everything seems like faster in this type of plays. So what we do, it's guess, and we should not guess, right? So for example, this is sorry, this is one of the examples where we can say that referee is moving too close and is moving while they do the call, right? So this is an example. Okay, we should maintain the proper distance, and right there it was too close. If, for example, I don't know, if the referee was on the letter T of Istanbul, letter T, that'd be correct, right? But right there in the N letter, that'd be so close. That's too close to take the call on this play. Okay, somebody wants to comment or give an opinion about this?
Anyone?
I would add that if you're that close, all you're going to be seeing is from the waist up. So you're not going to be seeing feet. And if you doubt me, I want you to stand as close as that referee is to the players, to a blank wall, and see if you can see the floor from that distance. But if you step back, if you step further back, you're going to be able to see probably from the floor to the ceiling. And that's a basic exercise you can use to see if you are seeing what your angle of view is and what your perspective of the view is.
Okay. And I also want to add something. Okay. Ian, go back about 5 seconds. Tell me what you think about the call. And we mentioned this earlier. What type of call it was? Was it, you tell me. Yeah, go back and play. Yeah. Okay, good. So tell me what you thought about the call. Was it a call because I saw the action, or was it a reaction? Like reaction? Tell me.
Good night, Tamika from Turks and Caicos. It was a call because I don't think she actually saw the play. You know, I think she just saw the action. I think that her being closer gave her tunnel vision and instead of funnel vision, because she only saw she saw straight ahead. Instead, she should have been looking. She should have been wider where her vision would have been wider.
Okay, good. I like that answer. I like that answer, and I have one more question. So, action, reaction. Choose one. Action, reaction. The call, action. I saw the fault. Yes, this is a fault, or reaction. Oh my God, what happened?
Reaction.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? A female. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Mr. Major, go ahead.
Hi, Major from Bahamas. I think it was a reaction.
Okay, good. Yeah, so we can all agree reaction. Yes, it was reaction. It was like, oh my God, like she just saw the players coming together, the defenders coming together, and oh, something happened.
Tamiko again. You can see from the motion when she blew the whistle, she was kind of I was excited, like she was kind of surprised.
Yes, like surprise you.
Yes.
Good. So the essence of it is, if you're too close, you might not see the whole play, and you will somehow react. Okay? Yeah. Go Ian. Next one.
Henry Williams from Jamaica.
Yeah.
I think that because she was in a bad position, she literally anticipated the call because she was expecting the defenders to foul, and she was out of position. So she just anticipated the call, thinking that the defender fouled the offender.
Yes, I like that word, anticipating the call. I like that word, anticipating the call. Yes. So when making judgments, be stationary. Okay, so an exercise you can practice is staring, eyes open, staring. Like they say, when you stare, your focus and concentration increases, right? When your eyes are bouncing up and down, like when you're moving, automatically your eyes would glitch up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, like blink, 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 blink. So it's possible that in the blink, then you can possibly miss something. And it says correct decisions likely when you're stationary, focus and concentration increase. You must move, but only in the right position. And there are just four things that you need to understand. You move. Okay, so you're following the play. Good. You can feel something, so you stop. The players stop, so you'll stop. Or the players slow down and you stop. And this is the perfect time. As you're moving, okay, as you're moving, you're getting the perfect angle all the time. So when you stop, you're pretty much in that correct position. Then you observe, and that's when your eyes stop because you're stationary. And then I decide, okay, does it continue? Okay, it can't continue, it has to stop.
Ready?
Yeah. Feel free to ask questions if you're not clear or if you just need us to emphasize something similar. Hmm.
Okay, they're asking in the chat if you can play it again, please. Okay, opinions? We want to hear you so bad.
Yes, I want to hear you. This is good stuff.
There's from Dominica. The distance was good. Yeah, good distance. It's almost like when because I'm a coach and you, we teach our players to look at the bottom of the net. When you look at the bottom of the net in the center of the floor, that you can actually see everybody moving on the court. So I feel there was proper distance, that the referee had a good vision of the play. So I feel the distance in this one was sufficient.
Hello, this is Andrew from Bermuda.
Go ahead, Andrew.
I'm not too sure what call the ref made, but it looks like he was calling a push through while the defender was trying to set a pit, which was surprising to me because I thought that referee had his eyes on the ball, the players with the ball, rather than was looking inside, inside the key. So if that's a call that was made, it's a bit surprising to me.
Okay, can you Okay, go ahead and I'll tell you when to stop. Can you stop right there, please? Thank you. Okay, so it might be surprising for some, but actually what we talked about is that we should have like the most players in our field of vision. And for center's position, this is primary area, right? So you might think that his eyes are on the ball, but that referee should be aware of what's happening on the key, okay? So that's his responsibility. Of course, he can get some help in case that he doesn't take this play, okay? But his responsibility is, yes, of course, the ball, but then the players that are on the key, okay? So for example, if, okay, you cannot see my cursor right here, but okay. So the thing is that position is correct because he can see player with the ball and he can see the space between these players, but he can also see what's happening at the key, okay? So it's really important for this referee to maintain an open angle. That's why we say maintain an open angle, maintain a big picture mentality, because even if you are on the ball, then you can referee off the ball, but of course on your primary area, okay? So it shouldn't be surprising if you're refereeing, it shouldn't be surprising to have a call from center on this play, because center should call this play, should be able to call this play. Okay, opinions, somebody else?
Henry William, Jamaica. Although the referee was basically refereeing the person with the ball and the defender, those persons at the top of the key was also in his scope of vision. So he was in a perfect position to make that call that he made.
Thank you. Somebody else?
I agree with my colleague, Henry. This is Rodney from Jamaica.
And if you look at all the free referees, they have perfect distance. They can actually see everything. If you look at the guy on the bottom and the one on top, the distance looks sufficient, and the distance looks okay.
Great, great.
This is Mark Nicholas from Turks and Caicos. I think the distance was good because all three referees looking at a good distance and they allow the play to develop instead of just reacting to it. So they allow the play to develop so the referees could make a better call, judgment call.
Okay.
Anyone else?
All right, good night. Next here from Guyana again. I would have to say with other referees, I would say yes, the spacing on the floor is very good for the officials. But the next thing I'm watching out here is that probably the contact would have occurred with the two players from the same team. So that would have been an inadvertent whistle on that call.
We're going to talk also about, but we're going to talk about picking defenders, because for example, we're talking here about position of all the referees, and we're talking about the distance that they're getting. So for example, right here where center referee had the call, he had the call on this player that's coming to the defensive player who's setting the screen, right? So he's responsible for that defender. If it was the other defender that's coming, right here, it should be trail responsibility. But we're going to talk about that further on the presentation. So just so you know that, and as you said, they all have a good distance from the plate, right? So, okay, let's, if somebody else has an opinion, or if we can, oh, there's another thing that we can talk about here right now. Can you see the referee that's calling a foul, and can you play it, please? and it's going to report to the table. So we should look that he's reporting, right? He's not going all the way to the table. He's reporting from there. And that's what it's required to do now. Okay, FIFA is requiring us just to, if you have an open angle now to the officials, the table officials, we have to report from there. Because this way we're making the game faster, and we're in our spot to keep refereeing. Okay, so that's another thing to add about this video.
Okay, Ian, can you share my screen 1 second? Oh, share. Okay, I think I can do it myself. Okay. Presentation. Okay, so I want to share my screen. I want to share my screen so we can also look at something. Right? Okay, so I want to look at this. Can you see my screen?
No, we cannot.
Or you can't see my screen? Okay, good. Okay, if you can't see my screen at this moment, it's no problem. I would get back to it. But I have a diagram to show you with players on the field. Just a diagram to show you how your body positioning goes with the your angle of vision. How when you're like straight line, how you see pretty much everything that is directly in front of you. Okay, so if you're the center referee and you're looking down the court and you don't have the perfect angle, if you're directly behind the players, you only see a proportion of the players. But if you are pretty much in the best position, you have your back to the sideline and your body is angled and open up that you can see actually pretty much 8 out of the 10 players. Okay. So I will take note and I will show you at a later date. Yeah. Are you ready? Okay. Stay with the play until the end of the play. When it starts, it has an ending. Right? Mentally, do not stop officiating. Basically, do not fall asleep. Sometimes there are games when, okay, so a team is 101 points and the other team is 55 points. Yeah, and as referees, we tend to say, okay, so we can already determine the win of the outcome. So, okay, so we're just going to fall asleep. Any one of you remember the game between Australia and the Philippines? Yeah? Yeah? Do you remember that game between Australia and the Philippines, the one with the big brawl at the end, where the referees lost their jobs? Yes? Come on, guys, talk. Yeah.
Everybody quiet.
Everybody's
Yes,
quiet.
yes, you
Good.
remember.
Yes,
Good.
we remember.
So that happens when you take yourself mentally out of the game, when you stop officiating. Sometimes when you also take yourself mentally out of the game, you miss the first contact and then you react to something which is not in your primary area. And that's sometimes how you have double whistles sometimes, or you make bad judgments. So mentally, you want to stay with the player, you want to be engaged in the player at all times. Constantly moving, looking, legal or illegal. Physically, do not fade away and release the play. Okay, so I am the lead referee. Something is happening on the baseline. Okay, so it leaves the baseline. The ball is kicked out to the perimeter, and the players, some person just did a back screen coming in my direction, and they said, okay, there's no ball in my area, so I don't need to worry about anything. No, it started with you. It's going somewhere else. So you're in between, you're following it, you're releasing it. Okay, it was mine and now I'm giving it to you. It's okay. I trust that you can handle it. So you don't want to release the play. You don't want to fade away. You want to keep engaged in the play all the time until something new occurs. Okay, so you're not only refereeing in your area of responsibility. You want to always have a good angle so you can give help. Okay. Um, any questions? Okay. Okay. So tell me.
Yes, Major again from Bahamas. Um, Wanted to know, how do you help your partner to get engaged? Because I mean, sometimes you may see your partner in that predicament of, going in the mental block. How do you assist and not be as in a way of, of the word I'm looking for, being rude to them, because you don't want no argument between you and your partner.
Okay. So if there are any FIBA referees in here or experienced referees in here, um, give your opinion. How do you get your partner mentally involved in the game? Okay. Is Gilbert is from USVA here?
Method and everything like that.
Yeah. Are you saying something?
Come on, everybody's so quiet tonight. What's happening? We got sponges tonight. Let's engage.
Good night.
Communication. Come on, Tion.
Hello.
John.
Yes, Aaron Francis here from Grenada. I think good communication with your partner referees in the game starts before the game. So coming early and building a nice rapport with your referees, and you talk together, you discuss how you want to move throughout the game. Then by making any adjustments with your partner throughout the game, it's easier to communicate and understand since you have that little camaraderie, that little rapport before the game. I think that helps a lot.
Okay, good. So self-talking. Yes. Okay. Okay, good.
Where's Kai?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. We can hear you.
I'm not an official referee, but for me, how you can is basically just keeping eye contact and just making sure that you are aware of the other persons, your other officials who you're officiating with. Ensure that you have like a slight eye contact with them. So if you see them falling asleep, you'll be able to either give a head nod or a signal with your hand or something, a slight signal that only you persons that you're aware of. And like my friend's colleague just said, having the pre-game meeting, I think that would help as well. Because if you have the pre-game meeting and probably one of you probably worked all day, and if you say to your other colleagues, I'm feeling a little out of it tonight, so just look for me, just keep me in mind, and you guys come up with a signal. So when you see that person falling asleep, more or less, you'll be able to communicate with the agreed signal or sign that you may have come up with.
Okay. Thank you.
I tend to agree with the last two speakers. I think the pregame is very important. And when we look at it in our context in the Caribbean, for most of us, is very few of us in the islands who referee. You have a small core of persons. And given that these persons, they work full-time jobs like my last colleague just said, sometimes you come to a game having just come off of work and you're tired. So the pre-game is important. And also, I fully agree with what she said in terms of little signals, little eye contact off and on with the crew to make sure everybody's on the same page. Even when you have intervals, quickly getting together just to keep people's minds going. Okay, I think that is really important as well.
Okay.
Okay, I would like to add something on this, because when we're talking about engaging our partners, that's like another thing that's different from IoT. Why? Because IoT, it's about engaging yourself. Okay, it's about managing your individual techniques, right? Of course, we have to engage our partners, and we should talk about all this stuff in the pregame meeting. But we have to handle and dominate, and we should dominate these individual officiating techniques, because this is a system and we should work as a system. The three referees should be on this system, because if it's not like this, it's not going to work. That's why we should manage, handle, dominate these individual officiating techniques. Okay.
Can I just add last thing before we move on?
Yes.
We did a session before we start this new module on communication, and I think for the person that asked the question, it's very important to note that communication is key. You know, it's not just what you say, but it's how you say it, and how you communicate with your fellow officials can make the communication process easier. And also the timing, you know, sometimes you wait until the quarter finish or a timeout, and you make a little adjustment. So sometimes it's when you say it and it's how you say it. So all parts of the communication process.
Great. Thank you.
Can I share something? Say something?
Yes.
The scenario that was used was based on one team has let's say 100 points and the other team has 55 points. So how do you, like you're refereeing and your teammate, you realize your fellow referee, he just or she might just be waiting for the game to end and has missed some calls. So I feel someone's supposed to, like, if you notice that your fellow referee missed a call, even if the game is a blowout, you should maybe walk to him and say, even though the game is a blowout, but we still have a job to do. And let's just call it, you know, don't let it be like as if because the game is a blowout, we're not refereeing anymore. So I think that was based on the scenario that was used. So how do we do that? I mean, we have the pre-game warm-up, the pre-game talk before, but then in the game changed and it become a blowout. But yet still we have to continue officiating. So how do we, even though we make a hand signal, but then we supposed to go to the next referee and say, hey, even though the game is a blowout, but let us, you know, try to, you know, continue the referee as, you know, no matter the circumstance of the game. So that was the scenario that was used for that question. So that's just my.
Thank you, Derek. Exactly what I was trying to.
Yeah.
Okay, so and you're both right, as well as what Alejandro was saying, is that even if you are tired, for you to communicate that to your partner has now to take that in mind and bring it back to themselves. They have the individual officiating technique for themselves. So you can give them all the signals all night. If he or she doesn't take his or her individual officiating responsibility, if they don't take it seriously, you're going to have problems for that game, because remember, it's a team sport, and it's also a team of officials. So if the other two referees are having a marvelous game and that one referee is sleeping, chances are the coaches and players are going to say, that the referees are crap for those calls that were missed. And I leave it here.
Question, Cameron from Barbados. How would you go about where facing the lead official each time, like on the baseline, he's actually missing, say if it's 3 calls straight up, he missed. You being the trail, how, and the thing, but the 4th call, then you missed, realizing that he was missed 3 calls, that was what you observed was right in his like he had proper distances, everything, and due to probably the tiredness, etc., he missed 3 straight calls. How would you then, you being that trail, would you try to make that call?
Okay, so the thing here is that we should be really open for this, because in really interpreting this correctly. In FIBA, they're asking if we should call, we should have a call, no matter where it comes from, okay? So if we have a referee that's missing calls, for example, and those calls are affecting the game directly, and then one of the referees should call, no matter where is that referee, if it's center or if it's trail. But if lead is missing some calls that are directly affecting the game, then we should have a whistle from whenever you want to, okay? But don't misunderstand this, because then we're going to have whistles from everywhere, and that we don't want that, okay? So only if those missed calls are affecting the game directly, we should have a whistle. If we have a timeout, of course, we can discuss and we can talk with that colleague, okay? And we can, as you guys said, what did you see? How did you see? Okay? But please don't misunderstand this, because if there, I'm gonna say it again, if there's a play where we should have a whistle, no matter where the whistle comes from, but we should have a whistle, okay? And we should be patient. That's another thing. We should be patient. We should give time to the referee that's on that primary area to make the call. If that referee doesn't make the call, then we should have another whistle from other referee, okay?
And then that needs to be something that the referee supervisor and the team referees discuss after the game.
Exactly.
Understood clearly. Thanks.
Yes.
Let's move on.
Yeah. Okay. When you're talking about distance and stationary, we're talking about positioning on the court. Okay. On the court, you're either on ball primary, which is able to see the defensive player. So one of your key responsibilities on the court is refereeing the defense. Okay? Off ball primary, able to see the player in primary area without the ball. Yeah. You're the lead. There's a player, there's a matchup in the key. The ball is on the perimeter. You have to be able to have an open angle to kind of see the next step for player. There's a possibility that once the player is in the low post and the ball is on the perimeter, it's a possibility if there's not a shot, the ball would be being passed on the inside. Off ball extended, able to see as many players as possible outside your primary, not focusing on all of them. So as I mentioned earlier, you're not only tunnel vision to what's going on in front of you, but you have to maintain an open angle to see. It starts here and it's going here, it could go there, or it may go here. So yeah, you want to be able to have everything in view, but not focusing on all of them. Focusing mainly in your primary area.
Hey, Jillian, just take a break. Elisa Smith, can you mute your microphone? Okay, Jillian, you could go ahead.
Jillian, unmute your mic, Anali.
Okay.
Okay,
I
so we
didn't
have,
realize that we were
okay,
muted.
me either.
So,
So we have
sorry
another,
about that. It's when I mute everyone, your mics also get mute. So
Yeah,
just unmute yourselves.
okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Okay, we're going to see a video with it's really interesting. So I would love for everybody to pay really, really good attention on this because we want your opinions. Okay, somebody can give us their opinion, please, on this play.
The referee missed the call. The shooter.
Okay,
The
why do
shooter
you
shoot
think the referee missed that call?
because the shooters, the defender went in the landing space of the shooter.
Okay.
It
Okay,
is
who
exactly.
else?
I would say the referee missed the call because he was looking at the shot instead of looking at the player taking the shot and that particular position. So they were looking at the end result and missed what happened.
Okay, great, great.
Can
One of
I?
the things that we do, yeah, go ahead.
Right. In that play, to Francis here for Grenada again. In that play, the referee was looking at the play from the beginning, but you can see them take the eye off the play at the end once the ball is released from the player's hand. And the act of shooting is not completed until that player lands, and they did not follow through to the end. That's what I see from that play.
I am looking at Ian and he's really enjoying your responses. So am I, but I'm not that expressive. I love that response because it's pretty accurate. It's correct. Because, and this is the things that we analyze when we go to the dressing room after a game and we go with the video and we go with the instructor. And then we are analyzing, okay, we missed the call, but why? Why did we miss a call? Okay, and what can we do in order not to make that mistake again? Okay, so the thing here is that we should know how to officiate a jump shot. And we should know that we should look first where? To the feet to see if it's a 2 or a 3-point shot. Then we should go up and look for the point of contact, right? Should be the hand, the head, right? The elbow, okay? Then because of course the act of shooting finishes when the shooter lands on both feet on the floor. Okay, so referee should be able to probably do this, like go down, okay, up, down, and after that rebound and look for the closest matchup going for the rebound. Okay, so that's a technique, and we're talking about individual officiating, you know, so we should know and we should handle this. We should know how to officiate a jump shot, that this is the way. So if a referee, it's like focus on the flight of the ball, and as I said before, that referee is out of the system, and that's why we missed a call. So how or what can we do to do this correctly? We should be consistent on the application on these techniques. Okay, consistency in the application. And we have now modern basketball, it's giving us a lot of shots like this. Okay, so we as referees should dominate the technique to officiate jump shots. Okay.
Also, I want to ask, has anyone observed that there was a rotation during this field of play with the referees, with the lead referee and the center referee? Will the lead switch inside from table side to opposite side, and the center becoming the new trail? Has anyone observed that?
I did, because my question would have been, the old C would have also should have been able to officiate that call also. Yeah, the trail, so he should have moved down into the C.
No, and I'm gonna stop you right there. Remember, it may look confusing here that you have two trails, but remember, he's got the play. So what was one of the main points that Jillian and Alejandra has been saying? When you've got the play, what should you do? Stop. So he has to stay with that play until it's completed. I like to use the analogy, it's like a movie. You go to the movie to see the beginning, the middle, and the end of the movie before you leave the cinema. If you leave the movie just watching the beginning and the middle, you got to come back to the cinema to watch the movie so that you can know what happens at the end. So the old trail is justified in staying right there to complete the play until it has ended. Then he would move into the new position of the new seat. You guys can continue.
Thanks, Ian. And I love that analogy because, as you said, you cannot leave the cinema. If you do, then you have to go to the dressing room and listen to the instructor telling you the end of that play.
Okay. So I just want to add something. And I want you to take this away with you. When the play is in your primary area, one of your responsibilities is one-on-one matchups. And this is potential one-on-one matchup. 3-point shot will show the art. Okay? So just take that away with you. In your area of responsibility, one-on-one matchup, it starts and you have to see it end. Yeah.
Ready?
Here's another one.
Complete the movie.
This is a really good play to talk about. And I really would love to hear you talk about this play. So come on, don't be shy.
Okay, I know we have referees in here. I know we have referees in here.
Let's go straight. Andrew from Bermuda.
Great. I was looking at the participant's name to throw a name. Thank you.
Andrew from Bermuda, let's hear your view.
Actually, I was just thinking to myself, I probably need to be looking at this on my computer screen rather than my phone because I'm not sure I'm seeing clearly, but it looks like the shooter kicks his foot forward from what I'm seeing. But that's what I saw.
Okay, thank you. Let's hear Mr. Carlos Henry.
Good night, everybody. What I'm seeing here is exactly what you were talking about before, Ian, in terms of completing the play. Because if the referee didn't stick with it, then they would have missed the action after the ball was released. So this is exactly what you're referring to before in terms of completing the movie, watching the beginning and the middle, and certainly they would have missed the end if they didn't stick with the play. So this is a good example of watching the whole thing.
Stefan Dillon.
You guys hear me?
Yes, Stefan.
See, this similar to the first person spoke about with the shooter kind of extending his leg. So I'm seeing a situation where the foul actually occurred on the shooter itself.
Ms. Shepherd.
They're asking to play the video again. Can you play it again, please?
Sure.
Okay, so about this video, yeah, we were saying about staying with the play, and this is a good thing. We all said, okay, offensive player is causing contact, right? But let's address that the referee is calling an offensive foul. And what do you think? I would like to know, what do you think about the referee calling it as an offensive foul? Is it correct? Come on, let's go, because this is a good one.
Yeah, Miguel Peter from the Cayman Islands. Yes, that's the correct call because this offensive player shooting the ball outstretched his leg out of his zone to try and make contact to get a call for a defensive call foul. So that's the correct call.
Okay, so
And the
now I have
Williams-
another. Yeah, go ahead.
I think that it would have been a foul after the shot because if you notice, it happened after he had shot the ball. So I think that would be a loose ball foul.
Thank you. I can't, sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at Ian. I'm sorry. I'm laughing at Ian because he's not a good teacher. If you're giving a good response, he's like, yeah. So I'm laughing at that and I'm loving it. But okay. So yes, let's, that was the next question because we should know when the control of the ball ends, right? So control of the ball ends when an offensive player releases the ball in a shot, okay? So this is a good example. And if the player causes contact after he releases the ball, then we should call a personal foul. Or in the case that I'm not gonna put this into debate right here because then we're gonna finish, I don't know, in a week, about talking this being an unsportsmanlike foul, a personal foul, okay? So let's just know that once the player releases the ball, then that control ends. So it should be a personal foul, not an offensive foul. Because let's think that this happens in the, I don't know, it's the last play in the last quarter. One team is in bonus, and we can decide the game if we don't know this information. Okay, so we should know. We should manage control of the ball, because that's one of the most easiest things, or the basis, okay, in this officiating. So that's what I wanted to say. That's what I said. This is a good example of staying with the play, but let's make it correctly, like we were saying.
Good night. Tamiko from Trucks and Cakers again. I think the ref anticipated that foul, because if my eye served me correctly, he blew the whistle before any contact. He saw the leg kick. He saw the leg kick. He blew the whistle. Then the contact happened.
Okay.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay, but at the end of the day, was the correct decision made?
I say no.
Okay.
Yes, the correct decision was made.
Okay.
Yes, it was. A foul on the team that shot the ball.
So I'm gonna ask this point back. Was it an offensive foul, or should it be a personal foul?
Should have been a personal foul.
Yeah, it should have been a personal foul, being that the ball has been released.
Okay.
Thank you. Personal.
Okay. Adjustments. Okay. So you're moving to maintain an open angle, right? The player, as I said earlier, the players are moving, the ball is moving, and you're moving. Right? You want to anticipate where you need to be, adjust to the player. So in moving, you're stepping here and you're stepping there in relation to the body position of the players to be able to see the defense. So you're adjusting to the play in order to see the spaces, to be able to judge if the defense is legal or illegal. And you're moving with a purpose. Earlier in the video, we say in the introduction that referees feel that, or think that, being too close to the player is good, right? Like being too close to the player gives them a good angle to make the correct decision. So you want to be able to move with a purpose, go where you need to be to referee the play. If it means back on the wall, if it means moving close to the end line, moving close to the sideline, go where you need to go to referee the play. If initial position is correct, you don't need to move, but remember that you're not static. So there's constant movement. Moving to the left, moving to the right, zooming in, fading out, moving to the left, moving to the right. As the players adjust, then you too should adjust, because one of your responsibilities is judging if the defense is legal or illegal. Understood?
So there's another thing that it says that we should be moving, not static and all that. But it says move with a purpose. So we're not only moving, right? But we're moving with purpose. We're moving because we want to see what we have to see, right? Because then we get back to this maintain proper distance and being stationary when we have to make a call. So yes, we have to be moving in order to call correctly, but we should be at proper distance, stationary, and if we are moving with purpose.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Sharon Francis here from Grenada. Now, in refereeing games, I know the lead, the center, and the trail official are supposed to box the players in on the court, right? Now, you will have a game where you have a team that you have players that like to run the fast break. So there'll be what you call loafing. They stay almost all the way up by the halfway line, and then you might have an offensive, defensive player on the other team staying closer to him. In that case, should the referee, should the one of the referees, the trail, go higher up to box these players in, or should they be excluded from the play? Because in that you can't box all the players in if these players are staying closer to the halfway line. So what is your opinion in a game like that?
I think one of the most important things is where is the ball? If the ball is in your primary area, then what is the most important thing? Close enough to see and to be able to judge, but with an open angle to see what is going on in the backcourt. Remember, it depends on your position on the court. If you're the trail referee and the ball is coming out to the backcourt and pass over the half line to a player outside the three-point area in the front court, the most important thing is recognizing that this could be a potential one-on-one. So I have to move. So this is where you need to move with a purpose and go where the player needs you to be. Okay?
Tion, does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the court.
All right. Ready?
Yes.
Okay, somebody wants to give an opinion about this video?
I think the lead official should have blown the whistle ahead of time as soon as he saw the injury, because they still have possession of the ball.
Yes, and I want to add that I think he was a bit too static and behind play. He could have moved a bit faster and better.
Okay, can we play the video? Yes, thank you. You read my mind. Okay, we should stop right there and we should look. Referee, it's a close in right there because the ball is coming to the left, right? And then he's gonna start his rotation because he's seeing that the players are coming to this side, okay? Can you play it, please? Okay, stop right there, please. Right there, please. Right there. Can you stop it? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, So there's another thing that we should know. Right here, rotation was, like I could say, it was perfect timing, because he got there right before the ball got to the post player, right? So now, lead is responsible for number 23, that defender. We should pick defenders, okay? That's responsibility area of lead. But the one who caused the contact was, I cannot see his number, but his, yes, right here, okay. Right there, can you stop it right there? I think it's 16, okay. So now, number 16 is responsibility of trail, because we pick defenders. In this case, can you stop right now? Okay, the player who caused the contact was number 16. Do you think lead would be able to see this contact? Never, never. And it's not about his position. It's not about being static. It's about just the angle, because we have responsibility areas, but we have angles too, okay? And we have to pick defenders. So number 23 is responsibility of lead. And then 16, number 16 comes to responsibility area of lead, yes, but he's not in his angle. He cannot see. So if he make a call, he would be guessing. The referee who should make that call is trail, because that his responsibility of that defender, number 16, okay? Even if it's going to lead's responsibility area, okay? But he has the angle to see this contact. It's not responsibility on this one of lead, because he would never, ever be able to see this contact, okay? Exactly, right here. He's got the angle, right? So again, if lead is not about lead being static, it's not about lead having a bad position, because he's in good position to watch exactly the angle between these two players, the post players, right? Okay, so both referees have a correct position and correct angle, but okay, it was too fast. He didn't see it, or he didn't want to call. I don't know, but nobody called that play. Okay, so lead is not responsible for this play. Trail is responsible for this one. Okay, any doubts on this about picking defenders?
I don't think that we were talking about which was responsible for the foul. I think that we were hitting on the offender player got injured, and so play should have stopped while they still had possession of the ball. Because the lead would have saw that I think that would be player 5 on white, that he came off the court with an injury. He was holding his face while the play was going on.
So what is the general rule of stoppage of play for injury? I'm gonna ask Mr. Major. I'm gonna ask you that. What's the general rule of stoppage of play for an injury?
I can't say it off bat, but normally you would stop if there is an injured player if they're in the play. I would have assumed that he would have been in play.
So let's look at it. In their judgment, the player came off the court. He came off the court. Actually, he was standing right in front of the lead referee. Correct?
Correct.
The players continued playing. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. The ball then moved away from the injured player. Correct?
I'm assuming so because I can't remember the full.
All right, let's play. Oops, sorry. Let me just listen, come back into it. Away. Then you get the whistle.
The guy actually did dribble towards where the guy was walking off.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's still in. Well, okay. I mean,
was there a real need to? What was there a real need to really stop the game right there and then? Was the player in any danger of being run over by his own players or the defensive player at that time?
At that time, no.
Okay. So then there's no need to stop the game.
But okay. But I mean, the guard who has the ball is at disadvantage because he's assuming that his player is able to assist him by giving him a pick. I mean, I'm only doing on the assumption, so because of me being a coach.
He was looking to me, he's looking like he was going for a drive. He then passed for another one to take a shot. So all of this, you as an official, you don't want to disadvantage a team. We're sidestepping here, but I need to explain it to answer your question. You don't want to disadvantage the team. The injured players team, white team was still going to try to make a try for a basket, correct?
Yes.
Good. They lost possession of the ball, and the ball went to the other end of the court. After they had made of moving away from the injured player again, after they had made that try and had scored a basket, referees then stopped the play because the play would have been coming back now to the injured player. This is where now the disadvantage would have occurred.
But something I noticed there, right when he gets the hand in his face there, he rushed towards the referee end. But knowing that the referee did not acknowledge him, he came back in the play one time. So, he was looking to see if he could get a pass from his player.
You are correct, Derek.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the part that I got where he had gone to the official to acknowledge of his injury. So I'm assuming that the official should have given him the benefit of the doubt because they still had possession of the ball.
Yeah, but he came back right in to see if he can receive the ball. And then they lost the ball. So I think he tried something. It did not work.
So I remember that's in the judgment of the official. Remember that.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Henry Williams here from Jamaica.
Go ahead.
I thought that this injury was not severe enough at the time for the referee to stop the game. And when the injured player realized that his team had lost possession of the ball, he tried to get back into the game to try and play defense. So basically, what the referee did was a correct thing.
Thanks for your opinion. Anybody else? Jill?
No.
Okay, Jill, do we want to take a break from here and continue tomorrow night?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any questions at this time? And we're going to continue from right here tomorrow night. With
Okay.
part 2.
Thanks, Jillian. Thanks, Alejandro.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you.
I've put in the chat. There's the link that this presentation will be posted, and the videos that was used in today's session. They're already posted to the YouTube channel, and it will be available on the web portal. Actually, it's already available on the web portal. Please remember that on the conclusion of this, I will have this recording also posted to the YouTube channel and also be uploaded to the web portal. Again, at the end of the module, we would have a quest exam of 25 questions. So please do take good note of some of the information that you're getting today from the different modules, because the test will combine of a combination of questions from the different aspects within this module. Again, thank you. Our presenters, Ian, I'm sure that Freddie's on. But again, we will see you here tomorrow. I know tomorrow it's Sunday. Some people may be observing the day of rest, but please do make an effort to attend tomorrow's session. There's some good content here that you can take away. With that, I would say thank you and good night.
Good night. Thank you, guys.